real warrior. The adults care for others. They put others in front of themselves. There's a lot of you out there. You're trying hard, but the machine's against you. INFOWARS.com, PRISONPLANET TV, people like that, they're here to help you, to realize your power and to take it back. Because kindness is okay. Real wealth. Real wealth is love, is family, is stability. It's knowing for 100 years your family's going to have food and not worrying about it, not worrying about them getting taken advantage of. That would be real wealth. But today, wealthy people, they're either robbers or they're robber barons. The minimal wealthy ones are just robbers. They take everything they can in every way and cheat the taxes and everything. They're workers, they don't pay benefits. And then the robber barons, the Wall Street guys, the J.P. Morgans, the Koch brothers, and on and on.
Again, as a routine reporter investigation has resulted in numerous civil rights violations of two INFOWARS nightly news reporters, Darren McBreen and Marcus Morales, by the Fulton Police Department in the city of Roswell, Georgia. Exclusive INFOWARS news reports by Paul Joseph Watson at INFOWARS.com and John Bone at INFOWARS Nightly News are indicating that the two INFOWARS Nightly News reporters, McBreen and Morales, have been subjected to harassment and official oppression by the local law enforcement authorities in the city of Roswell, Georgia. According to the exclusive reports at INFOWARS.com and INFOWARS Nightly News, McBreen and Morales had been dispatched to the city of Roswell, Georgia to investigate the bizarre circumstances surrounding the suspicious death of a local resident, Andrew Wordes, being labeled as suicide following a 2-hour standoff with local law enforcement officials. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution is reporting that marshals from the Fulton County Marshal's Office were sent to Mr. Wordes' property to execute an eviction order. Wordes responded to the attempt to evict him by barricading inside his home and refusing to speak to authorities. Known by his friends and family as the Chicken Man, Wordes began raising chickens as pets on his 2-acre property near the city limits of Roswell, Georgia, in the county of Fulton. Following unsuccessful prior attempts by the city of Roswell to cite Wordes for various violations of city codes related to the raising of livestock and attempts to intimidate the mortgage holder of Wordes' mortgage, the city of Roswell filed a 55-page lawsuit against Wordes, calling his chickens a nuisance and simultaneously having Wordes' property declared a conservation area or green space. Wordes was then incarcerated for repeatedly violating or disregarding these new city codes, and as a result of his incarceration and numerous legal defense actions had fallen behind on his mortgage. Under the auspices of environmentalism, the city of Roswell issued Wordes an eviction notice and called in the county marshal's office to evict Wordes from his home. Following a 2-hour-long standoff, Wordes told authorities and reporters to get off his property, and according to local authorities, then doused his home in gasoline and lit it on fire. This alleged action resulted in a huge explosion in the home which claimed the life of Andrew Wordes. Upon arrival at the Roswell City Hall, McBreen and Morales had their civil rights violated by officers from the Fulton Police Department who refused them entry into the hall and told the reporters that they were not allowed to film, stating that they did not have the proper credentials to enter the public government facility or film on the property. McBreen and Morales were made aware that they had been subjected to additional civil rights violations when officers from the Fulton Police Department admitted to having followed the reporters around the city as they investigated the circumstances surrounding the Wordes' death and interviewed Wordes' friends and neighbors. Follow-up reports from the Darren McBreen the following day indicate that city officials are being more cooperative, but the ability to question government officials has been hampered, and any opportunity to get an on-the-spot account of events is now gone. McBreen has indicated that he will attempt to ascertain why he and his fellow reporter Morales have been refused entry into the Roswell City Hall and will be reporting back with details as soon as they become available. This is Chris Leverson, INFOWARS Nightly News.
Tonight I will be discussing two topics, one of which many of you already probably know about, is the Department of Homeland Security arming themselves to the teeth. Second, I will be discussing Andrew Wordes' tragic death. Well, let's start off with the Department of Homeland Security. This is an article uploaded by Paul Joseph Watson on April 5th, 2012, and it is titled "After Huge Ammo Buy, DHS Purchases Bullet-Resistant Booths. Federal Agency Preparing to Unveil More Checkpoints." It starts off saying, the Department of Homeland Security recently stoked concern by contracting a company to provide them with 450 million rounds of hollow point bullets. Now, the federal agency is also purchasing bulletproof checkpoint booths that include stop-and-go lights. A press release from Shelters Direct brags about how they are providing the DHS with bullet-resistant guard booths.
INFOWARS.com, the #1 internet news site in the nation. Because no starvation without representation. The sensation of PrisonPlanet.comization. Fighting Agenda 21 modernization and the New World Orders. Weaponization, corruption, and fake organization. INFOWARS.com fighting globalization and the cultivation, sterilization, and the fascist incorporation of the human mind occupation. It's the cultivation of globalization. So get to INFOWARS.com and slay the New World conflagration.
Good evening. Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Gus Cantivero. This week, President Barack Obama invoked the Warren Buffett rule in an attention-getting headline stunt for the president's re-election campaign, trying to capitalize on the anger from the Occupy Wall Street movement. Warren Buffett famously penned an op-ed last year in the Wall Street Journal where he said that he shouldn't pay more tax than his secretary does. But he didn't mention that his secretary makes over $200,000 and that all of his money comes from capital gains. Now we can figure that out because his secretary pays over 30% tax, and that's reserved for the tax bracket of between $200,000 and $500,000. And if Warren Buffett is only paying 17% tax, then that must mean he makes below $200,000. So where's all his money come from? It comes from his tax shelters, his overseas investments. It comes from his capital gains. The tax plan that he is proposing will, of course, be rigged to protect people like him. It'll be rigged to protect all the people who make all of their money from capital gains and from sheltering their money overseas. It's not going to do a thing to actually increase the fairness of the tax rates. And Barack Obama has used the word fair to say that it's only fair for the rich to pay their fair share. Well, I have an issue with the misapplication of the word fair. Fair is not to increase the taxes on the wealthy. Fair is to lower the taxes on the middle class. It's just not fair for people who make around $150,000 or $200,000 to be paying 30–40% tax of all their combined income in a two-family house. You know, why do we have to play all these games to try to get deductions? It seems to be that the only way to get wealthy is to break the laws, is to skirt the tax laws, to hide your money overseas. It's just simply impossible playing the game fairly to become part of that 1%, which is really the upward mobility that everybody really wants to begin with. The Daily News has an op-ed titled, "No, Mr. President, we're not that stupid. Buffett rule is a stunt, not sound policy to revive the economy." This is written by Andrea Tataros.
I'm announcing our biggest contest ever. And we're looking for people who love freedom and who want to be all in the resistance to tyrants. So you say you want to fight the New World Order. Why, if you were on the radio, if you were Alex Jones, you'd really kick some globalist ass. Well, here's your chance. We're hiring not one, but 2 new reporters whose reports are going to be on the radio, whose reports are going to be on the nightly news, who will even anchor the show. If you're ready, here's your chance to step into my shoes, and I hope you surpass what I've done. 2 winners, $10,000 in prizes, and a shot to be a reporter inside the INFOWARS.com command center. We're looking to hire 1 male reporter and 1 female reporter. And when you win $5,000. Your video gets seen by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on YouTube, and you get put into the very front of the running to be hired as a reporter/anchor right here in our operation. Do you have what it takes to be the next Info Warrior? The rules are posted below me here and at INFOWARS.com. This is a big deal. You know, the globalists are expanding their global empire, but at the same time, the people are waking up all over the world. We've expanded our operations in the last year. We've added the nightly news 5 nights a week. We're making more special reports. We're reaching 15 million people every week. In a year, I want that to be 30 million. This is your chance to join the team. I want to see what you can do. But a big hint is this. Can your news piece make the news? Does it get people's attention? Does it educate people? Does it open minds? That's more important than being beautiful or speaking with perfect eloquence as an orator. All of that is important. But we're looking for people that have that magic spark, that fire of liberty in their heart, because I want you to join our team. I want to give you a launch pad so you can really take off and engage the globalist. And if this works, we'll have contests all the time, and we'll continue to build this operation. I'm involved in a talent search, looking for people who have the fires of liberty burning in their hearts and their minds. You've got until April 30th to complete your news report, and then we'll announce the winners 1 week later. Are you going to join the info war? Do you have what it takes? It's up to you. All serious entries will be posted on INFOWARS.com. So everybody wins. You're getting the message of liberty out, and that's what really matters. But in the final equation, it's not about showing Alex Jones what you got. It's about showing the world and the globalist that no army can stop an idea whose time has come. Join me in the info war. So you say you want to fight the info war. You say you want to go head up against the New World Order. You can do a better job than Alex Jones? I know you can. And here's your chance to prove your mettle. Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of InfoWars Nightly News. This is a very important interview we're about to do. In fact, in the 9 months of the Nightly News, this is probably the most important interview we've done to date. Why? Because the woman we're about to talk to is a survivor of a very serious false flag criminal attack. And of course, that is the bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah building on April 19th, 1995. And of course, the anniversary is tomorrow. That's why we're doing the show here tonight, but I intend to air this interview tomorrow on the radio to the 3 million daily listeners, because it is so important. Jane Graham's testimony, she was the head of the HUD department in the Alfred P. Murrah building that day, and she lost a lot of friends, and of course, she was injured. And her testimony ties together with the testimony of police officers and others, and is completely damning. She is a star witness in all of this. There were other eyewitnesses, people like Terrence Yakey, who was Police Officer of the Year and saved people inside, that saw some of the things she saw. He was told, if you don't shut up, we're going to kill you. And they did kill him. He was tortured to death. Then there's police officers like Don Browning, who, on my show right here, have said that the FBI came in and told him, you and your wife are going to be killed if you don't shut up. He was the head of the K-9 unit. He was the sergeant in charge. He was there minutes after. These are eyewitnesses. So people have died and been threatened to bring you this information. So this lady has a lot of courage. It was about a year ago that I interviewed her last, and she said, I think this is going to be one of my last interviews, and I've twisted her arm to come back here, but she's told me this is probably the last interview she'll ever do, and she's joined, of course, via video Skype with the director of the film, James Lane, and of course, the film is Noble Lie. Great to have you guys here with us this evening. A very important interview, as I just said. James, introduce those who may not know who the little lady is sitting next to you.
Jane Graham here is one of the survivors of the Oklahoma City bombing on April 19th, 1995. She was actually at a training session that morning when the explosive went off, and